Nicole talk. Yeah, is it time to do Nicole talk? UIT on J? No, I don't think I'll do that today. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Not a single joke in sight. Only seriousness abound. How good is Nicole, chat? I'm actually curious. How do you guys perceive Nicole to be? Like, how good is Nicole? I'll pull it. Okay, so I'm gonna tier list it. Okay, all right. So a lower bound of S plus is like premium Zabai. Lower bound of S is Kirk. Lower bound of A is Binefa. Lower bound of B is Nevilette. And anything below that is C. Okay? I want to see where you guys think she stacks up right now. So most of you guys think she would be A, so somewhere between Binefa and Skirk, right? And like the purpose of this isn't to be like a tier list type thing. It's just that I didn't want to write out every single bound that I was using. Shout out to that one S plus voter. There's 3 of them now. Holy. Okay. So it seems like a majority of people think she's A, but about half of the people think she's A. And then of the remaining half, it's 50-50 between better than that and worse than that. It seems like that's where you guys think she is. Now, where do I think she stacks up? I actually think that I would probably put her in S with those definitions. The problem with Nicole isn't that she's not powerful. The problem is that she's not really valuable. Because she is a pretty fucking good unit, but because she has direct competition with Bennett, and because Bennett has been getting pushed out of a lot of meta teams, we've reached a point where a lot of the good meta teams don't need Bennett, which means that getting a second Bennett isn't as valuable as it used to be. Right? Back when Yelan was released, right, the main counter argument to, well, Yelan is kind of just not really better than Sing So there's no point to getting her, was, well, that's cool and all, but 2 Sing Sos is really fucking good, whether you play them in 2 different teams or together. Right? And that was the main reason why Yelan was a pretty valuable unit. With Nicole, if you look at the meta right now, and you look at the strong contenders for meta, right? We have Skirk, Mawika, and Lunar. And then a little below that, I mean, I put all of those together, but like, really, the reason why they're all together isn't because they're all at the same level, it's because you can only have one Lunar team at that level. So, realistically, if you have 3 full teams of the best teams in the game, these are generally the units you're using, right? And then a little bit below that, so alternatives, if you don't like any of those units, or if there's other units you like a lot, that are not far enough behind that it's like that big of a problem if you use them, like Varessa, Molani, that's kind of it. When you look at all of that, the only unit in all of those that uses Bennett is Mawika. She's the only one. Which means that the upside that was there for Yelan on her release as direct competition to Sing So, of avoiding that competition because the opportunity cost of using Sing So was high, has kind of disappeared for Bennett. Because all of the good meta teams right now don't really need Bennett. Because of that, right? In order for Nicole to actually be valuable for your account, you kind of need to be using Mawika and want to play a character that also wants to use Bennett. Now, a lot of these characters get better with Nicole, right? And they'll use Nicole instead of Bennett, right? Characters like Varka, for example. But the biggest issue is that that's still not really better than Mawika. And for Mawika, Bennett is still better. Rosette, for example, like there's a second example. I mean, she's also really good for Kinich. She's really good for Venti. And like, Venti isn't that great, but Venti R1 is better than Varka R0. So like, if you like Venti, and you pulled for Venti on his release, a lot of people that like Venti, that were excited about the witch buffs, just got the new Venti weapon. recently, right? But anyways, what I'm getting at here is, while just in terms of power, Nicole is a good unit, right? The very fact that she's better than Bennett in some teams inherently means that she has to be good. Because Bennett is a good fucking unit, right? Like, for the people that put that voted for Nicole in tier A, B, or C, do you guys think Bennett would be there too? Or do you think Bennett is higher? And I think most of you guys think Bennett is higher. And the reality is that Nicole is a unit that is better than Bennett in some teams, worse than Bennett in others, but never really that far from him in terms of performance. Bennett is higher because Malika exists. If Malika didn't exist, Bennett would be lower. I mean, sure, but you can say that about literally every support. How high do you think Escoffier would be if Skirk didn't exist? How high do you think Llama would be if Nefer didn't exist? How high do you think Inefo would be if Flynn's didn't exist? I mean, okay, maybe not that one. But anyways, the main thing though is that Bennett is a 4-star, right? Which means the opportunity cost of getting him is much lower. But yeah, so effectively, Nicole is a character that, just in terms of power, is quite good, but in terms of full value is like very, very low. Mainly because she's competing for a slot, like, or she's fighting for a slot that was much more competitive, right? The reason why Prune C6 is straight up just better for Varka than Nicole is because Venti is kind of fraudulent, whereas Bennett isn't. Is she even worth it without Varka? It depends on who you play. But, like, there's also a point to be made about how the shield can actually be impactful. But, like, my main recommendation is, if you're not planning on playing Malika plus another character that would want an attack buffer, right? Like, if you're only planning on playing Varka and you don't want to play Malika, I don't think Nicole is really worth going for. What about, like, you know, Overload? Meh. Kanich, though? Meh. Kanich is, like, the only one where, like, maybe you can make the argument that even if you're not playing Bennett anywhere else, you kind of do want the non-circle impact stuff. But that's only if you also have Emily. If you don't also have Emily, Kanich kind of doesn't really care that much about Nicole. And, like, would be the second character besides Maoika. No, like, right now I'm talking about, like, if you are on an account that doesn't have Maoika, right? If your account doesn't have Maoika and you're not planning on getting Maoika, I think Nicole is generally kind of not that appealing, because your Bennett can just be used instead of Nicole in whatever other team you're using that you might want to use Nicole in. Yeah, I guess the exception to that is Maldurin stuff, right? Like, fair enough, I suppose. Is Durin more desirable? Neither of them are that impactful, honestly. Who the fuck plays Durin? I mean, Durin will get a lot better with Nicole. Like, Maldurin gets a lot better with Nicole with Lohan. So, right now you're saying who the fuck plays Durin, because, like, off-field Maldurin is kind of unplayable, and it feels awful. But that won't be the case anymore next patch, right? Like, is Kinij Nagoli Onsan Durin not worth it if you don't have Emily? It's not that big of a deal. Like, I guess it's still kind of impactful, because you still get bounty from getting Nicole. Although, honestly, how much worse would Prune be? I actually really want to know. How does Prune compare to Nicole with Durin Onsan Kinij? Because, man, 50 damage percent is a lot. I mean, it's probably a decent amount worse before C6, and at C6, it's, like, probably fine. Like, it's probably not far behind. No healing or shielding, though. I suppose that's true. You have Eonson. Thoughts? Yeah. Maybe we can say that for Kanich it's different. It's like the exceptions would be for Kanich and for Melt Durin. And that's it? Question mark. Chaska? Is she even good for Chaska? I guess. Or like an official show as Nicole. If you don't have Durin, that's fine. But if you have Durin, I'm pretty sure Durin is better than Nicole in that team. Nicole gives you the shield though, but with the cooked free-to-play options of Mel Durin, is Rev Melt low and better with no Battle Pass weapon? You can just use Moonweaver, it's not bad. Nicole enables 15-second rotations with Chaska? Who's your last slot then? Or with Arlecchino? I mean, that's not true. But like, that doesn't matter. Like, Arlecchino teams that don't run Bennett do not have a rotation in the official Durin one, right? Like, the official Durin Chevaliers team, your rotation length doesn't actually matter because you just use Arlecchino's E as soon as it's back up, even if it's in the middle of your uptime. Because you don't need to use the E as part of your setup, which means that you will E basically every 15 seconds anyways. Right? Whether you're doing a 15-second rotation or not. And if you E every 15 seconds, that means that you generate the same amount of Bond of Life. And you use the same amount of Bond of Life. It will make it easier to play, though. Like, that is fair. The Durin official teams with Arlecchino feel kind of awkward. How good are Nicole's early cons? It, like, kind of heavily depends on the team. On some teams, they're a lot better than others. For Hexorite carries, they're kind of really good. For non-Hexorite carries, they're a bit worse. Teams that already have Shred, they're a bit worse. Like for the C2. For Arlecchino and Mawika, meh. C1 is kind of not that good for Mawika. Like, I think at C1 she's better than Bennett. But it's not because the C1 is really good, it's because she's not that far behind to begin with. The C2 is pretty nice for Mawika, though. Because you only have 20% Shred on Mawika Premium. Although I guess if you're considering going cons, you might also consider cons on Shilonen. And then you have more Shred already, which makes the C2 a bit worse. Is there even a single team where getting Nicole over getting a con or Sig on the carry is better? Mel Durin, I'm pretty sure it is better. But I think that might be it. That being said, though, yeah, like, Prune is likely to be on her banner. And getting Nicole plus Prune cons is going to be better than getting carry cons for quite a few characters. And by quite a few, I mean Varka. I feel like a lot of teams will value Nicole and not having another option to activate Bounty. It's not actually a lot of teams, at least right now. It might be a lot of teams in the future. Is Prune better than Farazan for Wanderer C6 with Nicole Durin? I don't expect her to be, but she's not going to be that far behind. She's probably better for C0 Wanderer, because the damage increase on Durin and her personal damage are going to be pretty meaningful. But at C6 Wanderer, neither of those things are nearly as impactful. Are you sure about not getting Nicole? I mean, I'm never, like, entirely sure until the banner's gone, right? But I feel like she really doesn't do much for my account. The biggest reason why I'm not, like, I might end up going for her anyways is future impact. Like, we'll get Sandrone leaks before her banner is gone, and it's very possible that Sandrone wants to use Nicole. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sandrone ends up as an off-fielder, kind of like Inefa. And if she is, then maybe the team already has the Shred. And if the team already has the Shred, then, well, you don't need a slot for VV anymore. So having a buffer like Nicole might be pretty impactful. Why would she? Sandrone is a stellar damage off-fielder. I mean, that's what we're, like, assuming right now. But the Superconduct set gives attack percent on the 2-piece. So it's probably attack scaling. The set gives attack percent, so it's very possible that Sandrone ends up very similar to Inefa. Like, off-fielder that deals attack scaling, stellar reaction damage. And if the Flynn's team didn't need Shred on the last slot, if you already had Shred, Nicole would actually be a pretty fucking good option for Flynn's. And like, if Sandrone is an Electro Stellar Conduct off-fielder, it's pretty fucking clear that she would be intended to work with Lohan, which would mean that Nicole gets bounty. So like, there's a very real chance that Nicole's value goes up with the Stellar Shell stuff. That's assuming Lohan is not immediately power crept upon entering 7.0. I think that Lohan will be power crept in 7.1, not 7.0. It's like pulling Elon for... I mean, I'm not saying you should pull her for that. I'm just saying, like, that's the only reason why I'm not, like, 100% sure I'm skipping her. Like, if we end up getting leaks for Sandrone that will indicate that Nicole is, like, by far the best teammate in the team, then I might go for her anyways. But I'm not really... Like, I don't really want...